Your son, sorry, okay. Hunter, you are making this family choir. That is so
Good morning and welcome to our service. Welcome to the Unitarian Society of Germantown. My name is Andrea Barsovic and my pronouns are she and her. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, united in a common purpose to make love real in our lives and in the world. We are diverse in our beliefs, atheist and agnostic, believers and seekers, and we welcome you here, no matter your race, your class, your gender identity, sexual orientation, family structure, job, or health. No matter our differences, we know that we are all part of the interdependent web of life. Whether this is your first, 5th, or 15th visit, we invite you to introduce yourself to someone at the welcome table over here, and they would be happy to answer any questions you have about this congregation or Unitarian Universalism. Please complete a visitor card and join us for fellowship, including coffee, cookies, and I saw bagels out there in the dining room, following the service. Our senior minister is Reverend Hannah Capaldi, who is on parental leave through January, so she can enjoy time with the newest addition to her family, baby Carmen. In her absence, she has arranged for a mix of voices to be in the pulpit. Today's worship will be led by our Director of Spiritual Development, Zoe Johnston. Gender-neutral restrooms can be found at the bottom of the stairs in the back of the sanctuary, and gendered restrooms are through this door and down the hall. Use whichever feels right for you. Before you leave the sanctuary today, if you have brought some small items of winter outerwear, please add them to our tree. On Monday, a volunteer will take your gifts to the families of Family Promise. We are also in need of 7 or 8 strong volunteers with strong backs to help us move the piano onto the chancel, like up here, after the service. We invite you to return this evening for another celebration of the winter solstice with the USG community. There will be a burning fire wheel to call the sun back, a labyrinth walk, and a potluck. Fun and a spiritual ceremony for all ages. On Christmas Eve, we will open the doors at 5:15 for the candlelight Christmas Eve service called Love Takes the Risk of Birth, with Reverend Hannah Capaldi, our settled minister, and a host of heavenly voices, including the Director of Music Ministries, Stearns Matthews, the USG Choir, and guest soloists and musicians. The traditional service will feel geared to grown-ups, but play packs will be available for kids in the pews, and as always, our wiggle room is available. Once the Johnson Street lot is filled on Christmas Eve, we ask that you park on the street. The courtyard off Lincoln Drive will be dedicated to those with limited mobility. If you are able to walk or wheel longer distances, we ask that you leave closer spots open for others. And now, as we deepen into worship, I ask that you silence your cell phones and allow yourself to be present for this hour. But please, don't silence your children. Their sounds are welcome here.
Our call to worship this morning is The Shortest Day by Susan Cooper. So the shortest day came and the year died, and everywhere down the centuries of the snow-white world came people singing, dancing, to drive the dark away. They lit candles in the winter trees, they hung their homes with evergreens. They burned beseeching fires all night long to keep the year alive. And when the New Year's sunshine blazed awake, they shouted, reveling. Through all the frosty ages you can hear them echoing behind us. Listen. All the long echoes sing the same delight. This shortest day, as promise wakens in the sleeping land, they carol, feast, give thanks, and dearly love their friends and hope for peace. And so do we, here and now, this year and every year. Welcome, Yule.
Our chalice will be lit this morning by Silver Thompson. Please join me in the unison words printed in your order of service. We light this chalice, the beacon that calls us to love, to justice, to a deepening of the spirit. Please rise as you are able for our first hymn, number 1063, Winter Solstice Chant. It's in the teal, soft-backed hymnal.
Morning, everyone. My name is Zoe Johnston. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Director of Spiritual Development here. And this whole service is a time for all ages. But for this specific moment of it, this is the time that I want to invite all of our kids, our youth, and those young at heart up to join me at the front here. And so while people are joining me up at the front, I'm going to grab my props. Who do we have today? Good morning, Elio. Good morning, Rafa. Hi, Micah. Why are you hitting yourself? Okay. Good morning, everybody. So we're going to start seated today, but eventually we're going to stand up. So if you want to find some space where you can eventually have some room. There we go. So do any of you know, when we say the winter solstice, do any of you know what that is? Yeah, what do you? Yeah, exactly. So it's the shortest day of the year, and after that, all the days become longer and more bright. Right? So last night was the longest night. I don't know if any of you noticed. I definitely did. Sunset at like 4:30. Yeah? The soul? Yeah. Winter solstice. Yeah, the longest night. Yeah. Dark. I know. So maybe yeah, snowing. So maybe you got back from school or went to bed and it was so dark out. It's snowing, I know. We're in the winter. Yeah. So this is our winter solstice, which is, again, shortest day of the year, longest night. And so what we're going to do for our Time for All Ages today is we're going to do a sun salutation. We're going to do some yoga together. And this was a sequence that was taught to me by our very own Esther Wisflam, who can't be here today. So this is a modified sun salutation. So it might be a little different from what you've done in the past. But we're going to do this because the same way that the sun goes in its cycles, it rises in the morning, it sets at the night, and then there are the seasons. We have our own seasons in our body. We have our energy rise in the morning and fall at night. So we're going to do the sun salutation together just to get our own energy flowing and also to do a nice honoring of the sun and the sun's movement. So we're going to start seated, and we're eventually going to move to standing, but you can stay seated the whole time as well. Okay, so for those that are seated, you might ground into your backside a little bit, and for those seated in the pews, maybe feel the back of the pew, feel your feet, the soles of your feet, maybe wiggle your ankles a little bit. And just like the sun rises from behind the horizon, maybe feel the energy from your feet into your ankles, into your knees, back into your hips, with your back against the pew, up into your shoulders. And then take a big inhale and bring your arms up. And then on your exhale, bring your arms down. One more time, up. And this time, drop your right arm, which I think I mirrored. And then lean over to that right side. Almost like the little sun is in your hand, right? You're looking up at the sun, you're lifting. You know that yoga move? Show me. There you go. Yeah, stretch, feel that side body. You do it touching the ground. We'll get there. And then inhale and bring your arm back up. Back to noon. And then drop your left hand to your side and stretch over to that side body. And feel that stretch in your side body. And then inhale back up. Both arms, have your fingers touch a little bit at the top. And then bring your hands down to heart center. So we just did some movement from side to side and up and down, just like the sun's movement across the horizon. And now we're going to do some standing, but you can keep doing that seated position if that's the most accessible for you, okay? So we're going to stand up, and as you stand, kind of feel your feet being the thing that draws you up, being the source of your energy, the thing that pushes you up. And for those of us that are here on the floor, maybe make some space. If you're in the pews, you might want to stretch out into the aisles, find your side spaces. But if you want to stay in the pews, don't worry, we have some options. So we're going to start by once again doing an inhale and bringing our arms up. And stay here for a couple of breaths, feeling the length in your spine. Your energy coming up from your feet all the way to the top, the very tips of your fingertips, finding the freedom and that length of your spine, your full body, your shoulders coming down to create space between your shoulders and your neck. And then on your exhale, if you're not in front of a pew, you're going to come all the way down to the floor, and if you're on a pew, you're going to come down to touch the pew in front of you. So all the way down if you have space, and just to the pew if you don't. And we're going to be in this forward fold, this resting, lengthening, letting go, feeling your muscles droop, coming to rest. And then on your inhale, come halfway up with your hands on your thighs. A nice forward fold-ish. I think it's a half fold. And I kind of think of this as where we are in the sun's movement. You know, we're not quite at the top when we're in winter. We're kind of at that halfway point. And then on your next exhale, go back all the way down. And then on your next inhale, go up halfway one more time. Exhale all the way down. And then on your next inhale, we're going to circle our arms all the way up. A full sun shining, your own energy shining out, your own heart center shining, sharing its light. Okay, now this is going to be a moment when we practice some good consent. Okay, so what we're going to do is make some space, check in with the people around you as we do this. You're going to step your right foot out slightly to the side. You're going to drop your left arm, and with your right arm, you're going to go out. So if there's somebody next to you, ask them if it's okay if you touch their shoulder or get into their personal space. Make sure that that's okay. And do a nice stretch. And then you're going to come up. You're going to come up with that arm. And then you're going to go back out. You're going to stretch again. And you're going to flip your palm over. And then just like the sun rises, I want you to come up. And look at your hand as you do. Look at that. That's your body. That's your arm stretching. Alive in movement, just like the sun. And then we're going to go back down. And then bring your feet together again. We're going to do it on the other side. So this time, step your left foot out. Check in with your neighbor on the other side. Say hello if you haven't. And then, let's see, bring our arms up. Drop that right arm. And bring that left arm out. Bring it out. And kind of feel that lengthening in your body. You are the whole horizon. And bring it up. Bring it back out. And then you're going to watch your hand be like the sun, moving up to its highest point. Wow. With your heart up to the sky. And then you're going to come back down. You're going to come with your feet together. We're going to do one final circling of the arms upward. And take this time to really find that length in your spine. Drop your shoulders. Not your arms, just your shoulders. Find that roll back. With your neck strong, your spine strong. You are so strong. And on our last exhale together, we're going to circle the arms down and find our hands into heart center. And with that, we have woken our own energy of the sun, and also honored the sun's return, the sun's lengthening on this winter solstice, when every day from here on out will be longer. Thank you for joining me with that. Our kids are staying in service today, so I'll see you up here again.
For many years, USG has been sharing our collections at Christmas time with Family Promise of Philadelphia. Family Promise specializes in providing housing for the homeless. They partner with landlords, hotels, and congregations, including USG, to provide temporary privacy and space in emergency situations. They assist with deposits and insurance and also provide children and youth services for families in transition. Please give generously, as we have found that the more we give away, the more that comes our way. To give in cash or check, drop it in the plate as ushers pass by. To give by text, follow the instructions on the back cover of your order of service. At this time, we invite you to contribute your joys and sorrows to the bowls of water at the front of the sanctuary. Choose a smooth stone or a pebble and place it in the water to absorb your pain or ripple out with your joy. Sterns will play as we process. Zoe will place a smooth stone in joy for the happy news that our former ministerial intern, Reverend Latifah Griffin, was unanimously selected to be the settled minister at the First UU congregation of the Palm Beaches. A fortunate congregation indeed. Zoe will also place a smooth stone of joy as we send a warm welcome to Aurora Noel Hopper born December 13th, to Mom Erica Dearden Hopper and Dad John Hopper. Aurora also was welcomed by brothers Jack and Eddie Vetter. Aurora is the granddaughter of longtime USG member Dave Dearden and niece Chelsea Dearden. We hope their joy is doubled in community. Finally, Zoe will place one smooth stone and one pebble into the water on behalf of all those joining us online. Please remain seated as we all sing Spirit of Life, after which we will share in a moment of silence. When we reach this time of year, when the days are short and the nights are long, I find myself yearning for the light to return. Reverend Kristen Harper, a UU author and poet, says we need to reclaim darkness as a positive force. Rather than thinking of this dark time of year as a time of waiting for the sun to return, we can celebrate what it brings into our lives. Here are a few things I think about. Here in the city, light pollution dims the stars, making them unclear and hazy. But out in the country, a clear night is magically dark, with millions of tiny pinpoints of light. You feel like you would reach up and grab them. It is almost dizzying to behold. And when the moon is full and rising, well, that's another kind of magic. In the light of day, I notice the things I can see, but when the sun goes away, other sensations become apparent. The bite of the cold wind against my face and the warmth inside my clothes, because I always dress warmly outside. The crunch of snow under my feet, the lonely hoot of an owl, the wind rustling through dry leaves still clinging to a tree. This year we got a Christmas lily, that big fat bulb poking out from a pot wrapped in green foil. Day by day, I watch the green fronds raise up from the bulb, bit by bit, unfolding as they rise. Soon, I know from experience, a thick green shaft will rise and unfurl 2 or 3 buds that turn into trumpet flowers, announcing to the world that life goes on. In years past, Rudy, my husband, and I hosted soup nights every Friday night in January. We set up the house as a cafe with small and large tables to encourage mingling. Friends and acquaintances would gather at our tables for homemade soups, 3 different varieties each week, and homemade breads. Adults and children would come on those cold January nights for sustenance, warm food in their bellies, and the laughter and conversation that is food for the soul. When I recall these perks of darkness, the list can go on, and I begin to relish what the darkness offers.
Good morning. We're so excited that our family choir is going to sing with us today, for us and with us. They learned this song this morning, and we're going to share the words with you before they sing it for you so that you can join in a few verses in. Repeat after me. Spiraling into the center. Spiraling into the center. The center of the wheel. The center of the wheel. We are the weavers, we are the woven ones. We are the weavers, we are the woven ones. We are the dreamers, we are the dreams. We are the dreamers, we are the dreams. You got it, easy enough. Listen to it a couple times and join in whenever you want to.
In celebration of the winter solstice by Stephanie Noble, do not be afraid of the darkness. Dark is the rich, fertile earth that cradles the seed, nourishing growth. Dark is the soft night that cradles us to rest. Only in darkness can stars shine across the vastness of space. Only in darkness is the moon's dance so clear. There is mystery woven in the dark, quiet hours. There is magic in the darkness. Do not be afraid. We are born of this magic. It fills our dreams that root, unravel, and reweave themselves in the shelter of the deep, dark night. The dark has its own hue, its own resonance, its own breath. It fills our soul, not with despair, but with promise. Dark is the gestation of our deep and knowing self. Dark is the cave where we rest and renew our soul. We are born of the darkness, and each night we return to the deep, moist womb of our beginnings. Do not be afraid of the darkness, for in the depth of that very darkness comes a first glimpse of our own light, the pure inner light of love and knowing. As it glows and grows, the darkness recedes. As we shed our light, we shed our fear and revel in the wonder of all that is revealed. So do not rush the coming of the sun. Do not crave the lengthening of the day. Celebrate the darkness, here and now, a time of richness, a time of joy.
So like I said, this whole service is a time for all ages. So if you've gotten, a little wiggly in your pews today, this is a sermon that if you want to come sit up here at the front where we usually do our time for all ages, or sit in the aisles or sit on the sides, that you are welcome to do so. Sometimes it's hard to sit in the pews for a whole hour. So this morning we're going to do our own celebration of the winter solstice together. You might notice that we have a construction paper fireplace up here in the chancel. And you might also have grabbed 3 flames at the front over here. And if you haven't, this is a great time to go grab 3 flames per person. Everybody needs 3 flames and some drawing utensils. Roman's got them. Roman's showing off. And it doesn't matter what size or shape or color. I got 3 different ones up here. So if everybody has their 3 and some drawing utensils, this is your moment. I'm going to give some instructions while people are gathering their flames. So by the end of our sermon today, we're going to have created our own fire, but I'm going to need your help to make it. So if you haven't already, choose those cutouts. And it doesn't matter, but hold on to those. And I'm going to reflect on the winter solstice, and 3 different times I'm going to pause and ask you to either draw or write in response to a prompt. And then you'll have a few moments to respond to that prompt on one of your 3 flames. So follow your creativity. You can respond to my prompt or respond to something else. And then at the very end, we're going to join all of our flames to make a big fire on the board. So again, if you want to come up and sit on the front so you can have a good drawing space to write on. Otherwise, you can use your gray hymnals. I think that's sturdier than the teal ones. Okay. Let's take a deep breath just to move from the instruction into the reflection. I love celebrating the solstice and the natural rhythms of nature. There's so many patterns in nature that require both a growing and a resting period, an ebb and a flow, an inhale and an exhale. I think of the winter solstice as being that moment right between an inhale and an exhale. Just as we were doing our sun salutation, feeling our breath, can we take a breath in together again? And that moment right at the end of your inhale, when the energy is inwards before you exhale, that's our solstice. I sometimes find it hard to truly honor this period of rest, this inward turning. Perhaps it is the Capricorn moon in my astrology chart, or perhaps it is the atmosphere of capitalism that surrounds all of us. That might be more likely. I find it easier to celebrate the peaks in my natural rhythm when I am able to do all of the things. Oh, to be able to do all of the things. To be able to come to work, to get some projects done, run all of my errands, exercise, cook a meal, spend some time with my friends, read a book, and then go to sleep at the end of all of it for 8 hours. Maybe you feel the same way, juggling a full day at school, sports and clubs and other activities. But I am tired just naming all of those things that vie for our attention these days. It is a very long list. And how will it ever get done? I'm sorry if I'm the first to tell you this, but this is the illusion of capitalism, and it won't all get done. Nor should it, especially in the season of winter and in the valley of our collective capacity for energy. So much of the winter solstice is about our certainty that the light will return, but I want us to truly celebrate the nature of the winter solstice. In the reading shared with us, Stephanie Noble writes, "Do not be afraid of the darkness. Dark is the soft night that cradles us to rest." I'm wondering if some of our fear of the darkness comes from this guilt around unproductivity. In the darkness, it is much harder to resist our body's need for sleep. Our bodies know when to rest, even when our minds do not. I want us to know that it's okay to put things down, even just for now. I want us to refuse to feel shame or guilt about the slowness of this season. This is the time for rest. Maybe that means sleeping an extra 15 minutes every day. Or maybe it means staying inside more and going out less. Maybe it means eating far more bowls of soup than you ever thought you could. When we honor the dark of the winter solstice, we learn to lean into the cradle of rest. So now I'm going to invite you to take one of your 3 flames, choose which one, and we're going to spend a few moments to draw or write about something that helps you feel rested. Let's take another breath together. Big inhale. On this winter solstice, even though we celebrate that the sun will return and the days will lengthen, there is no need to hurry. Noble tells us, do not rush the coming of the sun, do not crave the lengthening of the day. There are lessons here if we are present to them. And I'm lost. As much as I love the sun, sometimes it is overpowering. Think about it. When the sun is shining, you sometimes don't need any other lights. This is why the winter solstice is seen as a time for reflection, for the darkness sometimes reveals the true nature of our reality. Without a surge of energy, we are able to look for the other sources of light. Maybe it is the candles that we light inside, or the stars that Andrea talked about, lighting up the night sky. This year, our winter solstice finds us in the weird limbo period between Election Day and inauguration. There's a lot that we are taking stock of. Many of us may feel that our political system has once again failed us, intentionally disempowered us, choicefully left us behind and in the dark. And while I think it would be a naive oversimplification to say that we can celebrate this darkness, I do think it again offers us a chance to find other sources of light that we might not have seen before. When we are only wishing for the sun to return or waiting for better days or a more welcoming political system, we are left stuck by our own making. There are so many communities and groups and organizations and people that are not surprised by this political moment because they knew and know that true care and safety comes from within. In the darkness, may we find those people. These are the sources of light, the stars, the candles that we may have previously overlooked due to the overwhelming energy that our electoral system requires. But it is these small pockets of light, brimming with radical love, that will get us through the hard nights. So now I invite you to take your second flame and draw or write about a place where you feel safe and strong. When I go home for the holidays this week, I know that one of the first things that I'll do is sit with my back to the fireplace in my dad's house as we catch up after months apart. I can imagine how the warmth of the flames and the love of my family feels. Around a fire, these elements of the winter solstice come together. It is a place to rest. It is a new source of light. It keeps us safe and warm, and it connects us. In the dark of winter, a fire draws us ever closer together and reminds us of the simple joys of community. Yet a fire requires tending to. It needs the small sticks that we find littering the ground and a handful of pine needles to feed that first spark, A fire needs strong logs that are able to prolong the heat of the flames. A fire needs oxygen to give it breath and a container to keep it safe. I'm thinking specifically about fireplaces and fire pits, these small yet intentional places where the warmth of fires is enjoyed. These fires are just like our own beloved community. We need all of the unique gifts that are present here in order to build the strongest fire. Each element is essential in building the greater whole. And when we have created our fire, other people can see it as a source of light and hope in the darkness. Our fire becomes a place where people feel safe to rest and can move slowly without shame, that letting go. Our fire becomes a place of power and love, but it needs tending to. It needs the life that we all breathe into it to continue. One of the best parts about the winter solstice is that it brings us together and reminds us to tend to these small fires. Reminds us to nudge a log a little bit or add a few more pine needles. Move things around to let it continue. And as we celebrate the darkness, how wonderful is it to be able to turn towards each other the real and metaphorical fires that we create. So the final thing that we're going to write on our flames is to draw or write about the gifts that you bring to our community. What are your best qualities? This is not a time to be shy. We need your gifts. We need your self-assurance and confidence of the things that you bring to this community. And now, with all of our prompts answered, all of our flames given life, we are going to tend to our own fire. We are going to add the blessings of rest, the invocations of power, and the unique gifts that we all bring. In doing so, these small fires up here on the chancel will become bigger and more beautiful for all to see and admire. So when you're ready, take your 3 flames, and you can come up here, and I believe that we have tape. We have tape that you can use to put your flames on the board or stick on the board. You can get creative with your layering of flames to make new shapes or where you place them. And if you don't want to share your flames with the community at this time, we also have some tea lights that you can come up here and light to place at the bottom. And so now we'll spend a few moments to tend to our fire and add all of our flames to what is already there. Isn't this beautiful? This is the fire that we tend to in beloved community. May it continue to warm your hearts in the deep of the winter darkness.
Please rise in body or spirit for congregational hymn number 55, Dark of Winter, which is in the gray hymnal. As we extinguish our chalice, please join me in unison with the words printed in your order of service, followed by our sung response. We extinguish our chalice, but the flame remains in us as we live into the mission of this congregation, building beloved community with compassion, service, and empowerment.
As you look at the fire that we have created, remember that this is the beloved community that we continue to carry after our chalice is extinguished. Remember the warmth of this community and the fire of commitment. May you return to this place as the light and the warmth in the dark of winter. Blessings.